The signal that ended an empire. The story for 847 years. The Orion Empire has been the greatest achievement of human civilization. 200 star systems united under one government, one language, one purpose. We believed we were invincible. We believed our quantum networks made us untouchable, information traveling faster than light, coordination across light years instantaneous. We were wrong. It took only one signal to prove how fragile empires truly are. The Orion Empire spans 200 star systems, connected by quantum entanglement communication networks. Massive orbital stations gleam. Cities rise on terraformed worlds. The hum of a vast civilization pulses like rivers of light flowing through the Imperial Communications Hub on Kepler 442b, a moon-sized station managing quantum-entangled pairs for the entire empire. Admiral Kes Navarro, commander of the Imperial Fleet's 7th Squadron, stands on the bridge of her flagship, the Unification, reviewing patrol reports. She rose from a mining colony on the edge of the empire to the highest military ranks through ruthless competence and unwavering loyalty. She lost her wife and daughter when their transport was destroyed by separatist rebels 15 years ago. Since then, she's believed that only absolute unity, enforced by absolute control, can prevent the chaos that killed her family. Status report. Any anomalies in the quantum network? All entangled pairs functioning within normal parameters, Admiral. Network latency holding at 2.3 nanoseconds across all 200 systems. Good. The rebels have been quiet for too long. They're planning something. Quantum entanglement allows particles to remain connected regardless of distance. When you measure one, you instantly know the state of the other, not because information traveled between them, but because they share a single quantum state. The Empire built its communication network on this principle. We create entangled particle pairs, send one to each star system, and use them to transmit information faster than light. Dr. Elion Cross, chief quantum engineer at the Imperial Communications Hub, works in the quantum laboratory surrounded by holographic displays of entangled particle states. A brilliant physicist who helped build the quantum network in his 20s, he spent his life maintaining the technology that holds the empire together, but he's haunted by a secret. He knows the network has a fundamental flaw, a vulnerability he discovered years ago but buried because exposing it would mean admitting the empire's foundation is unstable. He's a coward who chose comfort over truth. Running diagnostics on entanglement coherence. Everything looks, alert tones escalate to alarms. Warning. Detecting anomalous quantum decoherence in Sector 47 Alpha. Entanglement fidelity dropping to 73%, 65%, 48%. That's impossible. External decoherence shouldn't affect our isolated systems. What's causing the interference? Unknown. The decoherence pattern is structured, not random noise. This appears to be deliberate. Deliberate? You're saying someone is attacking our quantum network? On displays, the decoherence spreads like a virus through the entangled particle network. Correction, not attacking. Broadcasting. Someone is using our own quantum network to transmit a signal, and that signal is destroying the entanglement as it propagates. The signal decodes in real time, mathematical patterns emerging. Isolate and decode the signal. What are they transmitting? Decoding now. The signal contains coordinates, stellar coordinates, and a timestamp. The coordinates point to a location in deep space, 847 light-years from here. The timestamp is, Admiral, the timestamp is 847 years ago. Kes arrives at the lab. Explain, Dr. Cross. Someone is destroying our communication network to send us coordinates from 847 years in the past. Not exactly. The signal isn't from our past. It's from someone else's past. Look at the stellar drift calculations. These coordinates account for 847 years of galactic rotation. Whoever sent this knew precisely where those stars would be relative to us, right now. Zia Okonkwo enters, out of breath. A xenolinguist and cultural historian assigned to analyze alien artifacts, she grew up in the frontier colonies where the Empire's control is weakest, and she's seen firsthand how imperial unity was built on the erasure of local cultures and languages. She joined the Imperial Archaeological Service hoping to preserve what the Empire destroys, secretly documenting forbidden languages and traditions. She's an idealist who believes diversity makes civilization stronger, not weaker. You need to see what the signal says. It's not just coordinates. There's text. In 17 different languages, including some we thought were extinct. Zia's translation appears on screens, the same message repeated in multiple languages. To whoever receives this, we were the Velcora Union, a confederation of 473 star systems. We achieved faster than light communication through quantum entanglement 1,200 of your years ago. We thought ourselves eternal. Then we received a signal, broadcast through our own network, impossible to stop, impossible to trace. The signal carried a simple message, the truth about what we were. Then one rotation of our homeworld, our empire had collapsed. Not from external attack, but from internal revelation. We send this message as warning. Some truths destroy the systems built on lies. If you are receiving this through a quantum network, your truth is coming. We calculated it would reach you 847 of your years after our fall. We are sorry we could not prevent this. But perhaps you can use what remains of your time to prepare for what comes after. This is a psychological attack. Separatist propaganda designed to create panic. Admiral, the quantum decoherence is real. This signal is physically destroying our network. We've lost communication with 17 systems already. And it's accelerating. And there's more. The Velcora Union, I've seen references to them in archaeological records. Ruins in the Rigel sector. We always thought they destroyed themselves in a civil war, but what if that's not what happened? What if they collapsed because of this signal? Information isn't abstract, it's physical. Claude Shannon proved that information has measurable properties: entropy, redundancy, noise. When you transmit information through any medium, you're changing the physical state of that medium. The quantum network is incredibly sensitive. If someone broadcasts a signal with enough entropy, enough information complexity, through the entangled particles, it can overwhelm the system, breaking the delicate quantum coherence we depend on. Whoever designed this signal understood information theory at a fundamental level. They weaponized information itself. The signal carries so much complex data that the quantum states can't maintain coherence while transmitting it. The network destroys itself trying to carry the message. Can we stop it? Shut down the network before the signal spreads further? We'd have to shut down all entangled pairs simultaneously across all 200 systems. But we can't coordinate that without the network itself. It's a catch-22. The only way to stop the signal is to use the thing the signal is destroying. 48 hours later, the Empire is in chaos. 100 systems have lost quantum communication. Ships are isolated, unable to coordinate. Rebellions are breaking out as central control weakens. The Empire is falling apart. Not because of military defeat, but because we can't talk to each other anymore. Governors are declaring independence. Trade has collapsed. And we still don't know what the second part of the signal contains. Kes, Elion, and Zia gather in a shielded room, examining data. The Velcora message said the signal would carry the truth about what we were. Their empire collapsed within a day. Ours is taking longer because we're more distributed, but the pattern is the same. People aren't just losing communication, they're losing faith in the empire itself. I've been analyzing the signal structure. There are two layers. The first layer, the Velcora warning, is just the carrier wave. The second layer is encoded in quantum superposition states. It's hidden beneath the primary message, and it only becomes readable when enough of the network has been compromised. You're saying the real message hasn't arrived yet, it's arriving now. In the next 6 hours, we'll hit critical decoherence, the point where enough entangled pairs have been affected that the second layer will emerge from the quantum noise. What does it contain? I don't know. But the Velcora message suggests it's something that destroys empires. Something true enough and terrible enough that civilizations can't survive knowing it. Quantum superposition means a particle can exist in multiple states simultaneously until it's measured. In our network, we exploit this to send multiple streams of data through the same entangled pair. But it also means information can be hidden in superposition, invisible until the right conditions trigger measurement collapse. The second layer of the signal was designed to remain in superposition until the network degraded enough that measurement would occur spontaneously. In the quantum lab, sensors detect the emergence of the hidden signal. Critical decoherence threshold reached. Second layer signal emerging from superposition. Coding now. Everyone watches as data streams appear, coalescing into something comprehensible. Oh no, oh God, it's not propaganda. It's evidence. Historical records appear, authenticated with quantum encryption that can't be forged, showing the true founding of the Orion Empire. These are primary source documents. Quantum encrypted with verification hashes from 847 years ago. They can't be faked. The encryption uses the same quantum entanglement principles as our network. Which means they're real. What do they say? The official history says the Orion Empire was founded through peaceful unification, 200 systems voluntarily joining together for mutual benefit. But these documents show the truth. The first colonies were established by refugees fleeing Earth after the collapse. They were pacifists, scientists, artists. They wanted to build something different from what they'd left behind. Historical footage recovered from quantum archives shows peaceful colonies, diverse cultures, democratic assemblies. Then the unification fleet arrived. Military ships from a faction that believed humanity's only hope was rigid control. They gave each colony an ultimatum: join the empire or be destroyed. Most surrendered. Those that didn't. Classified military records show orbital bombardments, civilian casualties in the millions. The empire was built on genocide. Every colony that valued independence was annihilated. The survivors were told it was for the greater good, that unity required sacrifice. And those who remembered the truth were silenced. The quantum network wasn't built to unite us, it was built to control us. To ensure no dissent could organize, no alternative history could spread. Kes speaks quietly. That's not possible. The founders were heroes. My own ancestors fought in the unification. They died protecting the empire. They died enforcing the empire. These records are authenticated. Quantum verification doesn't lie. Quantum cryptography uses the principles of superposition and entanglement to create encryption that's mathematically impossible to forge. When you quantum encrypt a document, you entangle its data with specific particle states. Any attempt to alter the document collapses the quantum state in a detectable way. These historical records were quantum encrypted 847 years ago. If they'd been tampered with at any point, we'd see evidence in the quantum signatures. We don't. They're authentic. Why? Why would anyone send this? What does destroying the Empire accomplish? It's not about destroying the Empire. It's about destroying the lie. Look at the transmission origin again. The signal came from the coordinates the Velcora provided, 847 light-years away. But that's not where the Velcora Union was located. I traced the stellar coordinates backward. Star charts show the path of the signal, tracing back through space and time. The signal originated from here. From the Orion Empire. Or rather, from what this region of space was 847 years ago, before the Empire existed. Someone from our own past sent this message, knowing it would take 847 years to reach us, traveling at light speed through conventional space. Then they used quantum entanglement to ensure it would arrive precisely when the Empire's network was sophisticated enough to receive it. Who would do that? The survivors. The colonies that were destroyed. Before they died, they sent this message, both as evidence of what was done to them and as a time bomb. They knew the Empire would build a quantum network to control information. And they knew that network could be turned into a weapon against the very system it was designed to protect. Nothing can travel faster than light through normal space. Even though quantum entanglement allows instant correlation, you can't use it to send information faster than light without a pre-established entangled pair. And establishing those pairs requires light speed travel. The signal's authors used this limitation brilliantly. They sent the message 847 years ago via conventional electromagnetic transmission, timed to arrive exactly when the Empire's quantum network would exist to carry it further. It's a message from our past weaponized against our present. So what do we do? The truth is out. The network is collapsing. The Empire is fracturing. Do we fight to preserve what we built, even if it was built on atrocity? Or do we let it fall? There's a third option. We face what we were and choose what we become. 6 hours later, the second layer signal has propagated to every remaining functional node in the quantum network. Billions of people across the Empire now have access to the authenticated historical records. I spent my life believing the Empire represented humanity's greatest achievement. I enforced its laws. I killed separatists who I thought were terrorists trying to destroy civilization. Now I know they were descendants of survivors, keeping the memory of genocide alive, fighting against a system built on their ancestors' mass graves. Kes sits alone in her quarters, looking at images of her wife and daughter. My family died because separatist rebels destroyed their transport. I blamed chaos, blamed division, blamed anyone who opposed unity. But what if the separatists were right? What if the Empire's unity was always a prison, and my family died because I was one of the guards? A calm chime sounds. Admiral, you need to come to the bridge. The quantum network is experiencing a new phenomenon. On the bridge of the unification, displays show something unprecedented. The signal isn't just destroying the network anymore. It's transforming it. Look at the data patterns. The quantum entanglement network reorganizes itself, nodes connecting in new configurations. It's not centralized anymore. The network is becoming distributed. Peer-to-peer instead of hub and spoke. No single control point. No way for anyone to monopolize communication. I've been analyzing the signal's complete structure, all 3 layers. Yes, 3. There's another message hidden even deeper, only accessible after the network transformed. The 3rd layer emerges, a message from the original signal's authors. If you're reading this, the transformation is complete. You now have what we died trying to protect. A communication system that no empire can control, no authority can censor, no power can monopolize. The 1st layer told you we existed. The 2nd showed you the truth about your empire. The third gives you the tools to build something better. We could save ourselves, but we could save you. Use this freedom wisely. Don't repeat our mistakes. Don't let fear of chaos drive you back to tyranny. True unity comes from choice, not coercion. We died so you could choose. Choose well. They weren't trying to destroy the empire. They were trying to free us from the only way empires can exist, through control of information. They gave us a network that can't be weaponized, can't be censored, can't be shut down by any central authority. And in doing so, they made the empire impossible. You can't maintain authoritarian control when everyone has equal access to information, when communication can't be monitored or restricted. The question is, what do we do now? The empire is already fragmenting. Some systems are declaring independence. Others are forming confederations. Some are descending into chaos. Do we try to restore order? With what? The fleet is scattered. Without quantum coordination, we can't organize a military response. And even if we could, should we? They died to give us this choice. Do we honor their sacrifice by choosing freedom, even if it means uncertainty? Or do we prove them wrong by rebuilding the very system they died fighting? Network topology determines vulnerability. A centralized network, all nodes connecting through a hub, is efficient but fragile. Destroy the hub, and the network dies. The Empire's quantum network was centralized by design, allowing control but creating a single point of failure. A distributed network, every node connecting to multiple others with no central hub, is chaotic but resilient. No single attack can destroy it. The signal transformed our network from centralized to distributed. We traded control for survival, efficiency for freedom. I've been monitoring the newly independent systems. Some are struggling. Some are thriving. But they're talking to each other. Negotiating. Trading. Forming voluntary alliances. It's messy, but it's alive in a way the empire never was. The empire is dead. The question is, who will we become without it? An emergency council convenes via the transformed quantum network. Representatives from hundreds of systems, no one in command. Kess addresses the council. For 847 years, the Orion Empire maintained order through control. We told ourselves it was necessary. We believed unity required submission. We were wrong. The signal that destroyed our empire was sent by people we murdered for refusing to submit. They died 847 years ago, but their message just arrived, carried by the very network we built to prevent dissent. Representatives listen, some angry, some grieving, all uncertain. We can't restore the empire. The transformed network makes centralized control impossible. But we can choose what replaces it. We can build something based on voluntary cooperation instead of enforced unity. Or we can fracture into isolated systems, each one vulnerable, each one alone. The empire erased hundreds of cultures, languages, traditions, all in the name of unity. The signal's authors preserved what they could and sent it forward, hoping we'd value what the empire destroyed. I propose we do the same. Build a confederation, not an empire. Preserve diversity instead of demanding conformity. Unite by choice, not coercion. The transformed network supports this. It's designed for peer-to-peer communication without central authority. We can coordinate without controlling, cooperate without coercing. But it requires trust. And trust requires truth. Then let's start with truth. I'm broadcasting authorization codes to the fleet. Not orders, I'm releasing all classified records. Every document the Empire sealed, every atrocity we hid, every lie we told. If we're going to build something new, it has to be built on honesty about what we were. Across the former empire, classified files open, historical records spread through the distributed network. 6 months later, the Orion Empire is dead. In its place, the Orion Confederation is being born, not a government, but a framework for voluntary cooperation. Some systems joined. Some didn't. Some are still deciding. And that's okay. That's the point. The new confederation is diverse, chaotic, vibrant. Ships from different systems trade, cultural exchanges flourish, scientific collaborations bloom. The fleet disbanded. I'm not an admiral anymore. I'm a mediator, helping settle disputes between systems that choose arbitration over violence. It's harder than commanding a fleet. But it's honest. Elion works on quantum communication technology, but now with researchers from multiple systems. We're improving the network. Making it more robust, more accessible. Some systems are using it to create sub-networks, local communities with shared interests. Others are building bridges to civilizations beyond our former borders. The technology that enabled empire is now enabling diversity. It's beautiful, in a way. Zia teaches xenolinguistics, preserving and reviving languages the empire had suppressed. I'm running a school now. Teaching the languages the empire tried to erase. My students come from 40 different systems. They're learning not just to speak to each other, but to understand each other, not as uniform citizens of an empire, but as diverse people with different histories, different dreams, different ways of seeing the universe. The three of them meet via quantum network, faces appearing as holograms around a virtual table. Do you ever wonder about them? The people who sent the signal? Whether they knew what they were creating, I think they knew exactly what they were doing. They turned their death into a seed. It took 847 years to germinate, but here we are, growing something they couldn't live to see. We should send a signal of our own. Something for civilizations 847 years from now. A message about what we built from the ashes of empire. What would we tell them? The truth. That empires fall. That freedom is chaotic. That diversity is hard. And that all of it is worth it. That we received a signal that ended an empire, and we chose to build a constellation instead. Individual lights that shine brighter together than any single sun ever could. A new signal is composed, carried by the distributed quantum network, spreading outward toward distant stars. The signal that ended an empire was really a signal that ended empires, all empires, everywhere, that built themselves on control of information. Once you give people the tools to communicate freely, to access truth, to organize without permission, you can't build lasting tyranny. You can only build cooperation. The transformed network spreads beyond the former empire's borders, connecting with other civilizations, other networks, building something vast and decentralized. We were an empire for 847 years. We're learning to be something else now. Something messier but more honest. Something fragile but more beautiful. Something that might actually last, not because it's enforced, but because it's chosen. The galaxy appears from above, showing the former empire not as a unified block but as a web of connections, chaotic, organic, alive. The signal that ended an empire taught us that the only sustainable unity is the unity people choose freely. Everything else is just tyranny waiting to collapse under the weight of its own lies. The hum of the distributed network echoes, countless voices, countless stories, countless choices, all connected but none controlled. The signal propagates outward through space, carrying the message forward to whoever might receive it 847 years from now. Information wants to be free. Empires want to control it. Choose which future you build. *The End.